Welcome to the Friday 13th YouTube channel, Metalheads. Today I've got a fantastic album review for you. As we all know, Judas Priest have just released their new album yesterday on Friday called Invincible Shield on Sony Music. Now, this is an absolute fantastic album. If you love Painkiller and you love Firepower, Redeemer of Souls, this is an album you need to check out. Check out this review, Metalheads. Original singer Al Atkinson left the band, would be replaced by the one and only metal god himself, Rob Halford. Now, the band released their first album, Rock and Roller, which was released in 1974. And this album would feature Rob Halford on vocals, as I said, also KK Downing on guitar, Glenn Tipton on guitar, Ian Hill on bass, and original drummer John Hitch. Now, Rock and Roller was a fantastic debut album, combining hard rock and very influenced by the blues. In 1997, the band released their second album, Sad Wings of Destiny, released on Gold Records. This was a brilliant follow-up to Rock and Roller. Now, the band have consistently wrote great albums throughout their career, and as we all know, the band have got heavier. After all, they are the metal gods. They have the creators of heavy metal music, alongside Black Sabbath. Not to forget that Judas Priest were the first real heavy metal band to wear leather on stage, and they really shocked the world. And when the band released their third album, Sin After Sin, in 1977, you could certainly hear more heavier influences. There was more double bass drumming, with session drummer Simon Phillips, who did a fantastic job on this album. The next album, Staying Class, in 1978, saw Les Binks on the fold on the drums, fantastic drummer. Les would also record the next album, Killing Machine, which was released in 1978. After Les left the band, Dave Holland came in for the next album, British Steel, which was a cult classic album, as we all know. The band did some amazing albums throughout the 80s, such as Scream for Vengeance, Defenders of the Faith, Point of Entry, Turbo Liver, and Ram It Down. In 1990, they released Painkiller. This would feature Scott Travis from formerly with Racer X, another fantastic band. Now, Scott Travis is an amazing drummer, technical but very powerful. He's really brought a new edge to this band's music. As we all know, in 2008, the band released Nostradamus album. A little bit weird from what they've done in the past. It was a heavy-going album. Sadly, this would be the last album for KK Downing. His replacement would be Richie Faulkner, the Falcon. Redeemer Souls was released in 2014, which is a fantastic album, a heavy album, pretty much like Painkiller. This was followed by the next album, Firepower, which was an absolute stonking album. This was released in 2018. And like I said, Invincible Shield has just been released yesterday, and it is a fantastic, heavy album with some classic Judas Priest elements. Now, Invincible Shield was produced by Andy Sneap. Andy Sneap did the last album alongside Tom Allen. On this new album, Tom Allen only produced one song, and it was Giants in the Sky. He co-produced it with Andy Sneap. This is a brilliant production, very crisp, very powerful. Every instrument really does shine through. Rob's vocals are absolutely phenomenal. For a guy in his 70s, what can you say? Can't wait to see this band live next week in Europe and Leeds. Now, this album has just come out in various shapes and forms, picture discs, different alternative CD covers, and vinyl. So I managed to get a copy of the deluxe cover CD, which contains 14 songs. If you've not heard the album or you don't know the song titles, I'm going to tell you now what the song titles are for this new album. We have Panic Attack, we have The Serpent and the King, Invincible Shield, Devil in Disguise, Gates of Hell, Crown of Thorns, As God Is My Witness, Trial by Fire, Escape from His Reality, Sons of Thunder, Giants in the Sky. With the bonus tracks, you'd have 3 bonus tracks. We'd have Fight It For Your Life, Vicious Circle, and the last song, The Lodger. I have to say, I really do love this album cover. Both the alternative album cover and the original artwork for the album is fantastic. If you can compare them, if you've got both of them, you'll know what I mean. It's definitely worth checking out both albums, both CDs or both vinyl, if you can get hold of them. Now, the album also features Glenn Tipton on guitar. You know, Glenn's been struggling with his Parkinson's, God bless him, but he's done a really good job on this album alongside Richie Faulkner. Bass playing by Ian Hill is fantastic, and also Scott Travis's drumming, which is phenomenal. And on top of that, the icing on the cake, Rob Halford's vocals, second to none, shines through, very powerful, still screaming like he did 30 years ago. Hail Rob Halford, Judas Priest. Now, the opening track, Panic Attack, as we all know, was released as a promotional video. This is a really heavy song. Takes me back to the Painkiller era. Rob's vocals really do shine through. And if you listen to the intro for this album or this song, it sounds very progressive. There was circulations going around, rumors going around that this album would have a lot of progressive elements. I'm not so sure if it does have that, but the opening track certainly does. Panic Attack is a sheer brutal song. It's a real slap in the face, very heavy song. Vocally, Rob is shining through. It's its best performance in a long time. The song is very technical and very heavy. And if you like classic Judas Priest and particularly the Painkiller era, this is a brilliant opening song. Panic Attack is a fantastic opening. Both Richie and Glenn Tipton are doing a fantastic job on this song, trading off from one another, making a brutal song but really heavily composed guitar playing. Next song, The Serpent and the King, as we all know, has also just been released as a promotional video. This kind of reminds me of something of the Ram It Down album. Next song is called The Serpent and the King. As we all know, this has just been released as a promotional video. This kind of reminds me of Free Will Burning from the album Defenders of the Faith, but with a heavier approach. A classic Judas Priest song, shining through with some fantastic vocals and guitar playing, alongside Ian's bass playing and Scott Travis's drumming. Fantastic song. If there's one thing I have to say about Judas Priest, they've got their own identity. They've traded off from this fantastic guitar song they've had for many, many years. You distinctly know when it's Judas Priest. And the next song, the title track, Invincible Shield, has that distinct Judas Priest style of guitaring. Rob's vocals are fantastic, soaring like a brutal bat out of hell. Rhythm section by Scott and E is fantastic, but this is a really good song. It's heavy, melodic, and it's a cross between old classic Judas Priest and the Painkiller, Redeemer of Souls, and Firepower era. Brilliant song around Metalhead. Next song is called Devil in Disguise. This is like old school Judas Priest. It's not a heavy song, but it's a really good tempo song. This song is very, very catchy and it has some fantastic guitar playing by Glenn and also Richie. Brilliant all-around song. It's an old school Judas Priest song, but it's not a heavy song. But I really like this, and I think this will go down fantastic in the live set. Next song, Gates of Hell. This kind of reminds me of a song from the Judas Priest album, Screaming for Vengeance. Kind of reminds me of Devil's Child. It's like a part two of Devil's Child. It's a really catchy tune, typical Judas Priest, but it's a really well thought out song. It takes me back to the early 80s. All in all, this is a fantastic album, Metalheads. If you're a Judas Priest fan like I am, you're going to love it. All in all, this is a fantastic Judas Priest album. If you like the previous albums, especially, like I said, the Painkiller, Redeemer of Souls, and Firepower, this is a brilliant album for you. It mixes old school Judas Priest with modern Judas Priest. It's a brilliant album, guys. The production's fantastic. Some really catchy songs. There's not one bad song on this album. So if you haven't got it already, please check it out. I'm going to give this album 5 out of 5. The Priest are back. Can't wait to see them live. Thanks for watching, Metalheads. More albums coming soon.